Good evening, UC Bearcat fans. It's time for UC Bearcats on the Prowl, starring James Ernest and Mark Fightmaster. Mark, I know it's been a long time. What have the Bearcats been up to?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it has been a long time. I mean, we didn't get to talk about basketball. We didn't get to talk about anything because of the pandemic. But, it looks like this Saturday, the Gridiron Bearcats are going to get started with a game against Austin Peay. And I would have to say they are heavily favored. I think they're like a 34-point favorite.
Exactly.
Last I saw. And, I mean, it's understandable. Austin Peay's 0-2. And they didn't look real good the one night I got to watch them play a little bit. So, it's setting up to be a very interesting year, let's say.
The crazy thing is, for Austin, it's going to be their last game of the year as well, this game. I mean, It's UC's first game. It's Austin's last, because the way I understand it, they're going to play spring ball instead.
Yeah. And, that's a choice that the conference made, and I think, and they went along with the conference. They were able to get a few games. It's almost like this is an extended training camp for them, which is why UC's 34-point favorites. Austin Peay is they're really just kind of learning what they've got. It should be a pretty easy win for the Bearcats. It's at Nippert, so it's a home game. I know there's not going to be people there, but still.
What are you talking about? I was going to say, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Interesting way. You need to make somebody on the football team an immediate family member. I don't know. I don't have advice other than marrying into the family how you're going to make them an immediate family member. But according to the thing I got emailed with being in the media, it said immediate family members are allowed to go to the game.
Right. Yeah. So hey, if you can adopt a player real quick.
Exactly. So if you can get one of the players, to sign off saying that you're their mother, they're your father, or you're their father or their grandparent, then yes, you can go to the game and they have your choice of seats.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, James? This could be a really fun year for the Bearcats. Let's look at the situation as it stands right now. Okay, no Pac-12. No matter what you hear, because I've heard 800 different things today, we still have no Big Ten. In the picture, and even if they get into the picture, will they be able to get into the college football playoff picture? This is a year, and I'm sure you've seen it. A lot of people are kind of picking UC as a dark horse to make it into the playoffs.
Exactly. So I agree with you. There are a lot of big things that could happen. Unfortunately, though, the thing we have to do first is win the games.
Yeah. And what I think I saw earlier, they're rated 13th in the country now. The Bearcats, they haven't even played a game.
Wow.
They went from 20th to 13th, and the thing is, let's look at Ohio State up the road. And I don't know if you knew this, but they had the largest fall out of the polls ever because they were rated second in the country. And then the Big Ten says they're not playing, so the next vote they're out.
Well, good. You know what? The sad thing is, I'm surprised that they did fall out. I was expecting them to still get votes, even with not playing any games.
Right. Like I was saying before, we don't know if the Big Ten's going to play or not. So, when you're looking at it, you're looking at teams from the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. And then we're the next tier. UC is the next tier of teams. And quite honestly, the Big 12, the American Conference might be better than them. Did you see what happened to Iowa State this past weekend?
No, what happened with them?
They lost to Louisiana.
Oh.
And they stopped the program. They stopped football after the game.
Oh, dang.
From what I understand, they canceled their season.
Just because they lost, or now they...
I'm sure that they're going to say it was pandemic concerns.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a kid that rage quits a video game, when they lose. I'm done. It's one of those things. So who knows? It's going to be a very, like I said, it's going to be an interesting year, man, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Now, one of the things that do worry me about this season is because of the Big Ten not playing, we lose that big game, though. We lose the Nebraska game, which could have been huge.
Right, it could have been, and I guess that's how they got Army to step in, right?
Yeah.
I think Army is stepping in to fill in for Nebraska, so it's not near the. Now, granted, Nebraska is bottom tier of the Big Ten, so I don't know quality-wise how they compare, but Army. You beat Army, maybe Army goes out and shocks a couple people. I don't think Nebraska was going to go out and shock any of the big players in the Big Ten. And I think they're a couple years from doing that. So who knows? Maybe it actually works in UC's favor that they end up playing against Army instead of Nebraska. I'm trying to see what Army's schedule looks like.
They are currently 2-0. And then they were supposed to be playing this week against BYU, but that got postponed.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here. So they got, well, you know what? No. They don't. Their schedule is rough. Not good. I mean, you got Citadel. Actually, it looks like an SEC schedule. Sorry, did I say that? It looks pretty soft, unfortunately. But I mean, dude, that's what we're dealing with this year. I mean, you got to figure, how happy were you just to see college football on a TV screen?
That is true.
I mean, I didn't even care who it was. I think I seriously watched Austin Peay's first game. I can't remember who it was against, but it was brutal. I'm trying to see here what their schedule was, because they lost to Pitt 55-0. But that was last week, and they played. Oh, why did you send me to this article? Computers. I love computers.
Oh, they can be fun, can't they?
I'm just trying to click on their schedule and see what we got, and it's not showing up. But I mean, they lost to Pitt 55-0, and we know that Pitt struggles. I mean, they're not the best team. So let's see. Okay, they lost to, is that Coastal Carolina? Yeah, Coastal Carolina, 24-17. Then they lost to Pitt 55-0. So I think this should be a nice little warm-up game for the Cats. And who knows what the rest of the conference is going to look like. I mean, I can tell you this: Luke Fickell's been working the boys. And he's been working them hard and making them do everything. This team, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were pretty excited about him. We were pretty excited about him after the bowl game last year.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, that was huge. They dominated that game. I mean, it showed that they really did care. Because with that game, it was setting up where we've lost the last 2, 3, whatever the heck it was in a row to Memphis. So it started feeling like, maybe they don't care. Maybe they're not into it. Maybe they're just going to phone it in. But they didn't.
No, you're right. They didn't. I mean, they beat Boston College 38-6.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors, our coach is leaving us. I don't know. How really into it are we? But, yeah, they definitely proved that wasn't the case.
Well, hell, we know coach isn't going anywhere, and we also know that the defensive coordinator is not going anywhere because they signed him to a big deal.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's because he had been on the short list for a couple head coaching jobs, and it didn't pan out. So I mean, so here you go. You got your head coach, your defensive coordinator tied up for a few years, and I think it's setting up really nice for the football team. Now let's see what they do with it. Let's see how they run with it. Let's see what happens this year. And I hate to say this, but this is one of those years. If the Big Ten doesn't play, if a few other teams don't play, this could be one of those years where whoever wins the national championship will be asterisked.
Oh yeah.
But if UC makes the playoff, they make the playoff, and they can always use that as a recruiting tool.
Exactly. And it's much better to have the asterisks, next to your name than have nothing,
Oh, yeah, I guarantee you. There's 85, 90 boys up in Columbus with a whole coaching staff saying, we want to play. You
Yeah.
know, we would rather be in UC's shoes right now than UC in our shoes.
Exactly.
So, so it's a good thing. You play the game, you dominate, and let things happen. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how they look against Austin Peay. How Prater looks and the rest of the team, and we'll see what happens. We'll go from there.
Now, obviously, this game isn't going to be a good indicator, though.
Nah.
I mean, it's the level of competition, but it really, I think it's more so what we're going to learn this game is the depth on the team.
Right, and I agree with that. We're going to see what they've got. We're going to see this, and this. I'm just working by assumption. I'm assuming that Prater will get at least a lot of time, if not start. This game, and I mean, we got a good quarterback situation. We got the kid from last year. We got the new guy this year. It's going to be good. So we're going to get to see that.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they really need to find out is, if something does happen, who do you have that can back them up? Who do you have that we can plug and play, which is what they did last year. I mean, they did that a lot with their defensive backs where they would have someone go down and then the next guy would step up and win the game basically for them.
Yeah, so... Yeah, and so what we got, and I'm sorry, I was looking at I pulled up the roster. Desmond Ridder from last year was the starter, and then you got Evan Prater from this year. So I think we're going to see a lot of those two, at quarterback, and just see what happens. I mean, hell, maybe they get Jack Perry sometime, the senior. But we'll see what happens. Get those two on tape and watch what they can do and see where we go from there. And then running back wise, I'm trying to see what. Probably Jared Dokes would be my guess, would be the starter. He had a decent amount of time last year. So, we'll see. You're right. It'll be interesting to see their depth and to see what they can throw out there on the field.
So, I mean, with it, though, the important question is, is their defense, which we think are going to be phenomenal, is that enough to win with? Or does the offense, how much does it have to step up?
Right. When you have a defense that can be the caliber of the teams this year, you don't have to score a lot of points. What's the old saying? Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships.
Exactly.
So we'll see. And again, Austin Peay is not going to be a good gauge of what the defense can do. I mean, Pitt beat them 55-0. But maybe Army will be. Or after Army, you got. Let's see here. Who is after Army?
After Army, we have USF.
South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to watch the defense. I think that obviously that's going to be the strength of this team. So, hopefully they'll be able to hold their own. But we're not going to learn much about them this week, man. I mean, seriously, there's. From having watched Austin Peay, they may be able to put you and me on the defense, and we can still shut them out.
Exactly.
And that could be ugly. So, this is one of those weeks. Go out, get the win, don't get hurt.
Exactly. That's the big thing is avoid an injury. But you mentioned the first three games: Austin Peay, Army, and USF. And with that, it's just kind of baffling that with such a short season, they're having 3 home games back to back to back. I mean, that's that's definitely should build some momentum.
That's not the only time that happens. As a matter of fact, let me see here. Looking at it, what do my computers do?
Yeah, Memphis, Houston, and ECU games back to back to back.
So we start with 3 games, then we go on the road for 2, and then we got another 3, and then we're away for 2.
Exactly.
So, that last game, God, Temple at Temple, that bothers me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the one. That in Central Florida, but UCF, who knows what they've got? We'll find out during the season. But that Temple game always scares me. We talked, 2 years ago when they lost to Temple, we talked about that. Temple always just seems to put a game together, be it basketball or football, against us. So.
Exactly. They're a great program, and it's one of those things you got to worry about overlooking.
Yep. Yeah. So, but for this week, easy win. Let's go play the game, get in the locker room with no injuries, and then go from there.
Sounds great. So for the fans that are listening to the show, the way I understand it, you can watch the game on ESPN Plus, and it's going to be also available on to listen to on 700 WLW. So that's two good options.
Yep. Yeah. Sit up back on the deck, smoke a cigar. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Sounds great.
Listen to Run Radio.
Excellent. Well, Mark, as always, enjoyed doing the show with you. Want to let our listeners know. Definitely tune into the Grueling Truth for a wide variety of shows, a wide variety of programs. I know there's not a lot of sports out there right now, but the great thing is the Grueling Truth is covering them all.
Mm-hmm. Dude, yeah, check out James's Wrestling Pod. It's killer.
Why, thank you.